If you like, shout my name.
Good
Good
afternoon.
morning, Lagos. How are you, beautiful people?
We're fine. Thank you very much for asking. Hello, Tope Cole. So,
Good morning.
good
How you
morning.
doing?
Good to see you. Welcome,
Likewise.
welcome. All right, be part of the conversation by sending us messages on WhatsApp. The Locker Room 981 is all about sports and everything in between. WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981.
While Twitter is at smooth981FM. Use the hashtag lockerroom981. On YouTube, we're streaming live, so please go on there. YouTube is smooth981FM Lagos. Subscribe to our channel so that whenever we post up a new video or go live, you are one of the
Or
first
when I
people to know.
stare daggers at Val, you're one of the first people to know.
All right, and see it.
That's right.
So let's talk about the International Women's Day 2020. The world is talking about women like we do 4 times a year, but this one is very important because Ladies in Sports International, a non-governmental organization that works to promote women in sports and improve the quality of life for women athletes, will host a celebration of the 2020 International Women's Day for Olympic athletes in Nigeria. The celebration will take place at the Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos, on the 8th of March. Mark that date. It's in 4 days' time with the theme Enhancing the Value of Women's Sports in Nigeria. In line with the 2020 Olympics taking place this year, it will be co-hosted by sports management company Integral and the former long jumper Chioma Ajunwa, winner of the Nigeria's first Olympic medal in 1996, former 400-meter runner and winner of the bronze medal also in 1996, Falilat Ogunkoya and Folashade Olumide Ayo, big names, who set the world record in para powerlifting, will also be honored for blazing the trail on that day. There will also be a meet and greet with medal hopefuls going to the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo to get fans and sports lovers acquainted with the stars that will represent the country. The expected athletes are, wait for it, Odunayo Adekuroye, Ese Brume, and Joy Udo Gabriel.
Honestly, this is where you cue the round of applause. Sorry to cut you, Tega. This is where you cue a round of applause for such a brilliant lineup. And we are prouder because we're sitting in the same space as the convener,
Breathing the same air.
breathing the same air of the convener of this fantastic, I mean, look at the lineup of people. I'm going there for the small chops and the athletes.
What should we expect?
I know you're coming there for the small talks. I'll make sure that they sideline your table. But yes, we're going to celebrate women in a totally different way. Certain things about each for equal that is not each for equal with women in sports. They don't have the same number of coverage. Media coverage. They don't have the same number of celebration, which is why we're saying we're enhancing the value of women's sports. It's not charity, it's people's careers, it's people's lives. Yes, it's people's sweat, people's hard work, people's legacy that they have built. So we're going to celebrate that legacy. We're going to celebrate that status. And so they are the stars of the day. So come out and see your stars on Sunday afternoon. I think it starts at 1 p.m. and we are punctual because it's Sunday.
Yeah.
And not just ladies, guys also.
Yeah, guys, if you are
ladies.
exactly, I get this question all the time. So should I wear a dress? No, come in your jeans, and you can go to the website and buy a T-shirt.
Yeah.
But
No.
it is about women.
You don't speak through that kind of information. The marks are available.
Yes.
Please,
Please
where?
break it down to normal people listening.
Okay,
What
so
does
you
merch
can-
mean?
Merchandise.
Merchandise. Okay, you can get a T-shirt at www.ladiesinsports.com.
Ladiesinsports.com.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can get your T-shirt there. It is for men, women, boys, and girls. If you support women in sports, then the Ladies in Sports is open to you. That's what we need.
Even if you are binary.
Yeah.
Come.
Yeah.
Wow, Tipsy, you went there.
That's
Amazing.
You did.
All right, but yes, I mean, I've attended one of your events, and the level of excellence in terms of execution was fantastic. Definitely want to go to, and I think it's time for women's sports to be on the map and be rightly recognized as so it should. So thank you so much for doing this. All right, let's move on to our next one. And Tim Duncan filing in for Greg Popovich gets first win as acting head coach. Tim Duncan got his first victory as an acting head coach yesterday when he filled in, for Greg Popovich during the San Antonio Spurs 104-103 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. Now, Tega is dancing because if you don't know, Tega is perhaps one of the biggest Tim Duncan fans, and I've been schooled on that. So it's night and day to be in the big boy chair, says Duncan. But truth be told, I wasn't in the big boy chair. We've got Spurs assistants Becky Hammond and Will Hardy and Mitch Johnson. Mitch prepared the game for us. Becky and Will were making all the calls, and I was the only one just standing there screaming at people nonsensical stuff.
Yeah, and that's Tim Duncan for you. If you watch him when he was playing. Yeah, I'm a big Tim Duncan fan. I grew up with him too. So, but this is such. He's not that person that will come out and say, I like to pass on to the next generation. I'm teaching people. But he doesn't do all that. Any spotlight you shine on him, he just shines it right back on the people around him. Like he's not even around. But that's apparently nice. Greg Popovich had personal issues to deal with, and so he left. Usually he'd say maybe Becky should handle the team. But it was unusual for me that he just chose Tim Duncan and said, you know what, today take care of the team. So I'm guessing that he's passing the responsibility round, like getting everybody ready for their new role. And to think that Tim Duncan came into the San Antonio Spurs as a player, won their NBA titles for them, then retired and is now sitting on the bench is a great career to see. So it was good. I think at some point in time he was upset because he looked like we were winning by 5 points. All of a sudden it became a close game. I was like, guys, what are you doing? Don't embarrass me on my first game. But he was able to push and teach and educate, and the boys were very happy to be in a huddle with him. They're like, okay, we thought that at some point he was coming to play. That's why we kept listening to what he was saying. We didn't know that he was just telling us what to do, that he wasn't going to be amongst it. But it was great to just watch Tim Duncan, former player, on the sidelines.
Brilliant. Zicolo nice. Has words for you, Tega. Says, well done, Tega. Great job you're doing with LIS. So proud of you. I'll get t-shirts for myself and wife as a support.
Please remember to go to that website, www.ladiesinsports.com.
Ladies in Sport. No S.
Ladies in Sport.
Yeah.
.com. Ladies in Sport. Ojo Ladele says, good morning, guys. My head is swell. Tega, I'm so proud of you.
Aww. You see?
My pride is spreading. Yemisi says, rather, from Stamford Square. He said, there are times and seasons and nobody can confidently predict the outcome of any football match 100%. The merciless way Chelsea dealt with Liverpool yesterday, you would think that the Reds were amateurs. Also, you won't imagine that Real Madrid will prevail over Barcelona the way they did. Seems like Lionel Messi has an expiry date. Chijoke, thank you very much for this. And Miss Sonia says, Tega, where's my t-shirt? Miss Sonia, thank you for asking that question. Please go to the website, www.ladiesinsport.com.
Fantastic. Thank
Buy
you so
one
much.
For you, for me, and for Ayo. You're capable. Tunji says, in the world's biggest, the world's biggest Tim Duncan fan, Tega can manage second. Congrats on the upcoming events.
Tunji, we will fight.
All right. Let's talk about Tokyo. Now Olympics. Now Japan's Olympic minister says the Tokyo 2020 Games could be postponed from the summer until later in the year amid fears over the coronavirus outbreak. In a response to a question in Japan's parliament, Seiko Hashimoto said Tokyo's contract with the International Olympic Committee, quote, calls for the games to be held within 2020. And of course, it also continues actually. It says, we're doing all we can to ensure that the games go ahead as planned. Under the hosting agreement, the right Games remains with the IOC. And the International Olympics Committee President Thomas Bach said his organization remains, quote, very confident with regard to the success of the Games in Tokyo. He said he would like to encourage all the athletes to continue their preparations with great confidence and full steam.
Yes. So this is the one of the biggest deals of the year. When the coronavirus started spreading the way it was spreading and people started dying, the next question was, this is an Olympic year. Is Tokyo going to be able to handle it? So at first they kept saying, oh, that it was still going to go on, but now there are growing concerns about people that need to go somewhere. And the first, so it came up in Congress that, look, can we still host the world with the coronavirus that is going on, given that we're trying, or seeing as we're trying to contain it at first, and then you're telling us that we should open our gates or our borders to the world. But the thing is, you're right, the IOC does reserve the right to call off the games. However, Tokyo is governed by certain people and certain laws, so they're also determined. But Tokyo got the right for 2020, which is why they're saying till the end of the year. If Tokyo does not host it in 2020, the rights leave Tokyo. End of discussion. Yes, that's how you sign a contract with expiry date. So,
And that's why I postponed Olympics than an Olympics behind closed doors.
they're saying postpone to the end of the year because they are hoping that by the end of the year, coronavirus will go. I'm not getting that from World Health Organization. And because of the fact that there are five or so different types of corona, and the one that is affecting now is COVID-19. So and the way World Health Organization is talking about it is that it's going to be around for a while. So even this postponement,
because let me explain that very quickly. There's a certain number of people that they need to carry out tests on, and they haven't reached that quota yet for there to be a possible solution or treatment.
They've told us that 1 year we shouldn't expect any.
Do you understand? So postponing it will still, at the end of the day, it will still be a lot less people going for the Olympics anyways.
You know, I'm just shaking my head. I'm just imagining the loss of revenue to Tokyo. The infrastructure they built, their whole
the investment, then the tourism that they can hope will give them back money. The only thing they can get money from is TV rights now. People will be hustling TV rights because we can't go, so let's watch. So that will help them recoup some losses, but it cannot cover from the day to day, from the money that the man and woman on the street will make.
Will make the economy. All right, let's move on to Formula One. A long time no talk about that one actually. Formula One could not hold a world championship race in a country that denies access to any team due to coronavirus restrictions, Motorsports Managing Director Ross Brawn said yesterday. Some countries, including Vietnam, which hosts its first Grand Prix on April 5, have imposed quarantine periods on anyone who has come from or been in Italy during a 2-week period prior to entry. That has raised concern in some quarters about Ferrari's ability to participate. Now, Brawn said, if a team is prevented from entering a country, we can't have a race. Not a Formula One World Championship race anyway, because that would be unfair.
Yes, and because it's one thing if the team says, I'm not going to compete, then the team has decided to forfeit the points. It's another thing for them to tell a team that you cannot compete. Then the team did not even have a chance to defend or get any points. And Ferrari is too big in F1. You can't even try that. There will be no race. He's right. Guaranteed. You say Ferrari's team should not enter the place, then there's no race. Formula One will just pack their bags and go back to their houses. But it seems it's not that Italy is I don't think they're the worst hit. I just think that they haven't managed as well as other people. Because you hear some countries and their first cases came from Italy. So I think that's the issue around it. And so there are countries that are now looking out for people that are in Italy or coming from Italy. So if you come from Italy, rest assured that you're going to be quarantined for a while. And they can't do that with F1. You can't say some members of the team coming from Italy should leave 2 weeks ahead. They have too much R&D to do for you to. It's not a holiday. So it's going to be, it's something that the F1 is looking at. However, the Australian Open that's taking place, the Australian Grand Prix that's taking place this month is still going ahead as planned, according to F1. They haven't cancelled, they haven't moved. So let's see how it goes.
There's some other match that didn't hold that we're going to touch on.
The Juventus.
Apparently Serie A President Paolo Del Pino says Inter Milan refused to play the weekend's postponed match against Juventus on Monday, with doors open to the public. He said the Milan club are said to be surprised by Del Pino's accusation that they refused to play the match and insist the health of their players, club officials, and supporters is their priority.
Yeah, pretty weird actually, because there's no excuse. Everybody knows that safety should come first. In fact, tonight's match, the Coppa Italia fixture that's supposed to go down tonight between AC and Juventus, has also been postponed, and most likely the one tomorrow also will be postponed. So I don't know what he means by they didn't want to play. Everybody knows that safety should come first. So whether he's trying to make that as an excuse, I wonder.
No, I think he's talking about so they were trying to rearrange the games. And Inter Milan was like, they have too many games. You remember they didn't play last weekend when Juventus played? And they still have the Europa. So they're like, we have the Cagliari match to replay. Where is the time for us to So you can't fix it to that close. I think that's what they were saying. So at the end of the day, it's a little difficult for them to rearrange or get recovery time for their players. So that's why they were telling the Italian Serie A that you should hold off. So, but the Italian Serie A is making it sound like they are being unreasonable,
Yes.
and it's not fair. Don't throw any team under the bus. They have too many games to catch up on. Fortunately for Inter Milan, Juventus and AC Milan, their Coppa Italia match now has been postponed. So
it's not just them.
so it's not. So do you understand? But with Inter Milan, the struggle was we don't have enough recovery time considering the backlog of matches we have. So if you're going to fix it, you can't fix it almost immediately. And then they now made them look like they're being unreasonable. That's unfair.
I'm sorry, I can't help this. When you're saying they don't have as much recovery time, I was just thinking, okay, so their immune system has to be strong.
No, because if it was rescheduled for Monday, they'll have to play on Thursday again.
Then they have to play over the weekend again.
Monday is not firework.
When it's not
Let's take a break. We'll be back.
Lakumi. 5 more. Get out of the studio.
We're back. We're back like we never left. This is the Locker Room 91, Smooth 98.1. Why'd you have that look on your face?
Seriously, like we never left. All right, we have some comments to go through. If you want to send your comments, please do so on WhatsApp. 0809 444 0981 is the number. So we have this from Bolaji. Bolaji has something to say to you, Tega. Well done, Tega Tiger, aka Tega Supreme. We all are very proud of you. I will buy a t-shirt for myself and a friend. Thanks, Bolaji.
And Ugo from VI says, we may have just gone from being the best team in the world to the promo team in the world. 3 consecutive away defeats to all competitions, conceding 6, scoring nil.
Honestly.
Olu, I'm waiting the club now. So I start banter my own team.
Honestly, we're getting to that story next. So guys, just hold on. And then Femi from Festac says, the last 2 weeks for Liverpool has been nothing but LLL.
Wow. And Big C says, funny week in football. Barcelona lost, Liverpool lost 3 in a row. Chelsea destroyed them. Arsene Wenger, your village pot is breathing heavily on Liverpool. That record is still intact. And I remember what you said, Ayo, earlier this month. Said Liverpool is they have a strong affinity for 3.
I'm telling you, 3.
But let's get. I
Who
guess
are they playing with next?
Get to the story.
So,
Bournemouth.
Okay, Bournemouth.
Another 3
They're
coming.
probably excited. Jurgen Klopp played down concerns over Liverpool's form after they were knocked out of the FA Cup with a 2-0 loss to Chelsea. I thought it was 3-0. Is it 2-3?
No, this one was 2.
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah, last night.
Oh, okay. 2-0 loss to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday night. According to Klopp, losing 2-0 is not good. But in this case, it's relatively easy to explain. We made 2 massive mistakes around the goal. The performance tonight was completely different to the performance against Watford. Against Watford, it was really bad. Tonight, it was not bad.
And it was almost a full team that Liverpool used. I think just 1 or 2 French players. Actually, every team that have been playing FA Cup have also been infusing 1 or 2 French players, like Arsenal did 2 nights ago, and even Chelsea that beat them. But it seems like a case of when it rains, it pours for Liverpool, because like the lady sitting beside me, she tweeted, I saw her tweet, that Liverpool have forgotten how to win. And that's exactly how it's seeming. But of course, Jurgen Klopp will not be bothered because they have a wide gap between there and second place, and so they will have to lose more than half of their remaining matches for anybody to catch them in the league. So you can probably say they've won the league already. UEFA Champions League, they live to fight another day. But Liverpool, it's definitely not going to raise, or people will start raising eyebrows if they lose their next match against Bournemouth, because we all know how they always bottle the leagues. They bottled it twice or thrice in the past before. But this one is not seeming like they're going to bottle it. But if they lose, anything short of a victory against Bournemouth, then people will start.
No, people have already started worrying about form. There's no need for you to lie about it. The reason why he was asked the question on Liverpool's form is because they've been losing games.
Yeah.
And it happened after the winter break. They were just, which is why I tell people about this thing. It's easy to get to the top. Getting to the top is no problem at all. You're working your way up. You have no history. You have no records. Nothing. So any chance, any mistakes you make, it's forgivable. Once you get to the top, everything from then on out, you have to keep up or you have to top it. And that's where the problem is. Nobody can keep that momentum or that urgency or that hunger for that long. I remember Djokovic in 2000 and I think it was 2007 or 2011, where he was winning matches. Then he got to, after the US Open, he couldn't win any match again to the end of the year. It was a struggle because you cannot continue at that intensity. So that's why I tell people that it's easy to move from one club to the other. I've come back to this Messi Ronaldo debate. And make trophies, because now you're starting a new record. It's hard to stay in one club and continue to be kingpin all the time. It is not easy. So Liverpool are finding out now that intensity, that hunger. If you are leading the league by 20 points, how do you keep the hunger?
So do you think
What do you say?
That's what probably happened to Arsenal after waiting their unbeaten record? They are still gathering steam.
No, please don't talk. People have 11
Over a decade of
people,
steam gathering.
people have 11 Premier League titles. You are
They are
talking
still
about the one that have
recovering.
3.
Because nobody has ever beaten that record, so it takes the same amount.
That
of
team,
effort.
that team, they're now coaches, all of them. Some of them are pundits, but they're largely coaches.
Tega, I'd like you to say all of you. When talking to Ayo. And Ayo, don't say they.
I
Say
take
us.
it to
Say
chest.
we are still.
Me and Tope.
Yeah.
No,
Proudly.
stay alone.
No,
Why does mystery
She's
love
not as proud as
company?
you, trust me. Messages here. Emmanuel from Akoka says, we would like to thank Atletico and Watford for what they did, for what they've done for us. We thank them for the past questions, tutorials, coaching, and support.
All right, okay. Cruz says, Tega, seriously, what happened to LFC?
And Ridwan says, a few weeks ago, Jurgen Klopp, shining his white teeth, was telling his boys, you are doing well. You are doing well. Until Pastor Saul and Aji Smiler showed up. Baba, Baba has been spotted whispering on you ever since.
Who's on?
And then this is from Chimobi Victor, says Liverpool has lost again, or Liverpool lost against Atletico Madrid 1-0, lost against Chelsea 2-0, and lost against Watford 3-0. I won't be surprised if they lose against Bournemouth 4-0, because this is football. Please, nobody should call Liverpool the best team in the EPL.
Yeah, it's a progression. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0.
Let's keep counting.
That'll be a disaster.
Emma from Akoka says, Klopp should come and meet me. I'll take him to one Baba so that this L can stop. After crying for winter break, now they are broken.
Honestly.
So hopefully they get a W at Anfield. Thank you very much, Emma.
Oh, it's so bad. Since they went on the winter break, and
Yeah.
Klopp was the chief proponent.
He was,
My
I
guys
remember.
must have winter break.
Prime
Winter
comes to
break
play
this, winter break that. Now his guys are still on break.
Also, since he
Winter is
got-
almost over. They're still on break.
Since he got that letter from the 10-year-old also, coincidentally,
What is
the
the
10
10-year-old?
a Manchester United fan, a 10-year-old, wrote him and said, please stop winning.
Oh.
And he actually replied, trying to explain to the boy why he has to continue winning. But since then,
What's sweet about
You
this
know?
thing?
It's sweet.
No, it's sweet to hear.
him replying is
I don't
sweet,
say
actually.
Even the boy saying, please stop winning.
What's wrong with all of you? No wonder February 14th there was traffic on the road. It's all this behavior. What's wrong with you people?
It's okay to be mushy
Oh my
sometimes.
days.
Yeah, well.
This is a classic. Shall we go to stories?
Right,
Yes,
no, you can
please.
take his message.
All right, this is a classic. Says, on Liverpool's loss, I personally give Professor Diego Simeon a standing ovation for inventing the law of Liverpool's loss.
Law of Liverpool's loss. 3 L's.
Yeah.
Sergio Aguero is fit to face Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup on Wednesday, and Manchester United in the Premier League on Sunday. Aguero was initially a doubt for the match at Hillsborough after limping off in the second half of the Sunday's Carabao Cup final win over Aston Villa. However, Guardiola has confirmed that he's available to face on Wednesday, as well as Manchester United at Old Trafford on March 8th. According to Guardiola, in his words, who also confirmed that Claudio Bravo would retain his place in goal, he said, quote, he's okay for tomorrow. All right,
Well, just as I said, most of the teams have been using fringe players. Claudio Bravo is the second goalkeeper for Manchester City, and I expect him to retain his place for this one, while Ederson will return over the weekend. For Kun Aguero, I doubt if he's going to feature in both matches because there's no point. He's just coming back from an injury.
Manchester Derby. Instead, they will sit him out in this
that's
one.
what I
Let him
said.
feature.
Yeah, in both matches, that's what I'm saying. Against Sheffield Wednesday and against Manchester United. And they have a very capable number 2. That's if he's going to accept that position as number 2, Gabriel Jesus. So I expect Jesus to start tonight, and Kun Aguero should play against the Red Devils over the weekend.
All right. Okay, so Taye Abba says Atletico hacked Liverpool defense and started sharing password with
With everybody.
Someone said they are doing promo. Liverpool is doing promo right now.
Password was being Gilmore. No wonder Gilmore was trending. I saw
Yeah,
it.
he was a young lad that was about 3 days old when Lampard started his career, and then now helped Lampard to defeat Liverpool.
And his first match of the season, and it was
Really?
brilliant.
Talking
18-year-old
about
boy.
Lampard, though, I just saw his after his post-match interview. The guy is looking older and looking like he needs to sleep.
He needs to sleep, and he will sleep today.
He will sleep. But let's talk about Tottenham fans. Well, according to Troy Parrott, Tottenham fans do not know what striker even looks like. Says Jose Mourinho, the guy is back.
This guy's content.
Mourinho has said some of the Tottenham fans who are demanding Troy Parrott gets game time do not even know what he looks like. Mourinho has come under big pressure to play the 18-year-old as Spurs are short of any other recognized strikers, with Harry Kane and Heung-min Son out injured. And then he says that in response to what they're saying, this is a world where lots of people, they don't know if Troy has long hair or short hair, or is blonde or is dark. They don't even know that and speak about Troy, he should play. There was a guy behind me on the bench the other day. Play Troy. I don't think he knows Troy.
And you can't blame Tottenham Hotspur fans, actually. They have a youngster on the bench that is a striker. But Jose Mourinho, over time, has never trusted youngsters.
I don't say that.
How many youngsters?
Okay, hold on. What you said, he has never trusted. Never
Okay,
is
never
that.
is a strong word.
Never is. It's an extreme lie. However, let me tell you what Jose Mourinho says about this guy, which is why I understand what he means. What's the name of the other? McTominay. When he was in Manchester United, he featured McTominay a few times. He said he kept telling McTominay, when you go back to the under 23s, go back and play like someone that is privileged to be training with Team 1. McTominay will go back, he play as well as he can and go. He said, but when he sends Troy back, Troy was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I've graduated. And you can't use that attitude to play. You have to have a certain level of humility to know that you're still learning. Even if you're now training with the Team A, you're still learning. So temper your attitude that way, and that's not what Troy was doing, which is why he's hesitant to play him again after Burnley. That is the problem. So the problem is that he saw his attitude. So we are here sitting and shouting, play Troy. He has scored many goals in the under 23, and this coach is looking at him that the minute that boy enters the team, he will relax. He has to have that hunger. It's hunger that makes people
I also
win.
think it's a Jose Mourinho factor, though.
Not
Because
remotely.
if it's maybe Arsene Wenger or Solskjaer or quite a number of other managers, they would give him a chance. But Jose would rather play a false nine.
Okay. McTominay, who played him first?
He
What's the name of the other fullback, Dalot? Who played him first?
He bought that lot, so he had to go.
Who play? Well,
He
no,
bought
but
him,
he only buys superstar. Did you know that lot before he came to Manchester United?
Me and you just have popcorn and
So-
watching Tega.
I'm telling you.
So you no, because there are too many young guys that Jose Mourinho has allowed to play. Did you know Tanganga before he came out?
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Did
Tanganga
you
is the
know
only
Bergwijn
person
before
that-
he came to the
I
league?
have a did you know question. Did you know that England will play all number 1 team Belgium? What are your thoughts about that?
Yes, UEFA Nations League draw went down yesterday, and it's going to be a tough group for England, I want to believe. They're playing
I
Belgium,
think it'll be easy.
Iceland, Wales.
I think it'll be easy. The only person I see there is Belgium. The tough group is the one with Portugal, France, and Croatia. That is a group.
But considering the way Iceland played the last time, if they still live up to that expectation, then it should be tough.
Yeah, I feel
All right.
Wales is like a derby to them, so
Wales will face the Republic of Ireland, Finland, and Bulgaria in League B, while Northern Ireland are grouped with Austria, Norway, and Romania. Scotland, also in League B, will play the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Euro 2020 playoff opponents, Israel. Let's take messages before
Yes,
we go.
Socorro Raymond, I have to read you. Says you guys are amazing. See the way I'm smiling over here. I'm officially addicted to Smooth 981 FM.
Thank you.
And
A
Morgan.
quick message before we go. This one from MI. It says Spurs is the choking company of the EPL. No Harry Kane, no Eriksen, no good football. What shall the special one do? Troika, Thanos knee. Make them calm down and chop their L, Joe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then Chara says Liverpool see red in the hands of Blues yesterday night because Van Dijk was left in Atletico Madrid begging Simeone not to come for next UCL game. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for messages on Twitter. And keep the conversation going with the hashtag LockerRoom981. You want to get the merch, you want to get the pretty t-shirts, www.ladiesinsport.com. Thank you, Tega. Thank you, Tope.
Thank you for having
Next
me.
conversation is a special. You don't want to miss that. It's about your eye health. Let's talk glaucoma next.
You really like this ladies in sport.